There are two types of restoration companies out there: the ethical, awesome companies and the cheaters. Now, here's the deal. A lot of times it's very easy to cheat in restoration and cut corners, but I'm a firm believer in the saying of let's always make it super easy to do the right thing. 90% of you guys watching this video are probably amazing ethical restorers, but I bet you that most of you guys will find at least one of these 7 items resonating with you in how you're potentially cutting corners. And the goal of this video is not to shame you for that, but instead to give you an anecdotal behavior that you can deploy to help solve that, so that way you can move more towards the world-class example. So let's dive into those 7 behaviors. So the first way I find most restoration companies cheating is the fact that they bill for items that they don't do. And there's a lot of restoration companies that do heavy TPA work that, deploy the tactic of let's add all of this fluff so that way the adjuster could cut it off and so on and so forth. And look, I get it. We need to hit our gross profit margins. We need to do certain things. However, when you get into the courtroom and you have a line item by line item exactimate estimate, and on that thing there are line items that you didn't do, you're going to get them cut off, right? And you're not going to be able to collect on them. So instead of adding the fluff, I'm a firm believer in knowing your worth, knowing your value, and actually billing for the items that you actually did and changing those unit prices for what you actually believe you're worth. At the end of the day, you're probably sitting there and you're a world-class restoration company and you don't want to charge the same way that Bob and his truck charges down the street. And the way you do that is you just simply change the unit prices. You could actually factor your Xactimate invoices. You can actually factor your Xactimate estimates. And I'll tell you, I'm an Xactimate certified trainer. I've been teaching people how to use Xactimate for the past 5 years. Even Xactware as a company says, hey, look, these are estimated prices of what we think and should not be used for actual purposes. And Xactware gives you within the system the ability to change the unit prices for what you think you're worth. And 9 times out of 10, especially on mitigation stuff, if you factor the invoices, the adjusters are going to be way too focused on cutting off line items than they are to actually look at the unit prices. So the number one way to be ethical is actually to charge what you believe you're worth and only bill for the items that you actually do. The second way I find restoration companies cheat all the time is giving people the title or the position that the person wants without that person actually earning it. And then you've got a bunch of project directors and general managers walking around that fully do not fulfill that expectation. And then you have that friction going on in your company. And at the end of the day, what you did is you lied to yourself and you lied to your employee by giving that employee that promotion. And I get it. Most employees want the next promotion. They want the big fancy title. The way to counteract this is to be really clear and true to yourself and to your employees the responsibilities that are required for every single one of those positions, and just be very candid on where they are in respective to what that position requires. And instead of saying, oh, look, Miss Maria was an amazing employee and she's been with the company for 10 years. I want to move her up to the office manager position, whether or not she fits the role. It's very important for you and for Maria to know clearly, hey, the office manager position requires these 5 expectations and you're currently fulfilling 3 of them. Now, what you can do is you can put that employee on a improvement plan and coach that employee up to actually fulfill that expectation and then give the promotion. But don't lie to yourself and to your employees by promoting an employee into that position when they haven't specifically earned that. And I know it's a lot harder to actually do this than it is to explain this, but you'll thank me later and you'll be a much more ethical restoration company when you do this. The third way restoration contractors cheat all the time is that they claim that they're different without actually having a differentiator. Look, if you're BBVA Plus rated, you're not different. If you're ISCRC certified, you're not different. If you use dry ease equipment, you're not different. If you use cutting edge technology, you're not different. And the reason is the majority of the industry is doing all of those things. I think that it's become harder and harder to differentiate ourselves within the space. And you have to dig in deeply and actually establish a differentiator. And that's my solution. Instead of, saying and just easily claiming that we're different because we have benefits or we're different because we have drug screened employees or whatnot, which everybody else is doing, truly go double down and find your differentiator and then let the whole world know how you're truly different. Some unique things that I've found are faith-based organizations within restoration. Like True North Restoration is a restoration franchise that is completely different than all the other restoration franchises out there. And their differentiator is faith-based. guess what? You're probably going to irritate some people by being super different, but you're also going to inspire and attract certain types of other people to your organization if you are different. And those people could be employees, they could be customers, they could be referral parties. And just being different and being unique is absolutely awesome. My favorite quote is that in order to be successful, you must be willing to go being misunderstood for long periods of time. And that's exactly what being different means. Here at Albi, we're very different. If you look at our software versus Dash, Restoration Manager, PSA, Accelerate, Encircle, we're completely different. We're a venture-backed company that's literally lighting money on fire into R&D resources to make the world a better place for restoration contractors. Whereas everybody else is worried about the insurance carriers, they're all worrying about the stakeholders' profitability. We're just a different company that's basically delaying gratification to make the world a better place. Now, have we inspired some people? Yeah, we have hundreds of Albiwarians, actually thousands of Albiwarians that are following the movement. Have we irritated some people because of it? Absolutely. There's probably people out there that don't like Albi and they despise it, and that's perfectly okay. Now, the fourth way that restoration contractors cheat is that they overpromise and they underdeliver. It's very easy to go into a fire scene where the homeowner is absolutely freaking out and for you to want to earn their business by promising them the sun and the moon, and then in reality, delivering the opposite of that. And that's where you're basically punting the problems from the sales to, the project management or the collection cycle. And that is not good. And at the end of the day, you're cheating yourself and you're lying yourself. The solution to that is just being ruthless of under promising and always over delivering. So find a way to where you could promise half of the world to Mrs. Jones and then actually deliver the entire world to Mrs. Jones. That philosophy will actually pay dividends within your restoration career. The fifth way restoration contractors cheat every single day is recording reconstruction deposits as income. Oh boy, your entire books get completely out of whack. So hear me out. This month, the month of November, you sign a $150,000 fire law. And Mrs. Jones gives you an ACV check of $50,000, which you create an invoice on your books and you take that money and you deposit it within your bank account. Nothing wrong with taking the deposit up front. But when you create the invoice and you recognize that as income, what you just did is you added 50% of gross profit to your books. So you basically added $50,000 of income, and there are no costs of goods sold. There's no expenses. There's none of that. So you added $50,000. You overinflated your bottom line by $50,000. Now, rinse and repeat that over and over again with 20 to 30 to 50 transactions like Mrs. Jones a year. And now you'll see how you're basically lying to yourself on your books. So the way to fix that is actually having your accountant create this unearned income account. And essentially, when you take that $50,000, you put it into your bank account, but on the books, you record it as unearned income. So it doesn't touch your actual profit and loss statement. And then as you actually produce the work on Mrs. Jones's house, you create invoices for the work produced, and you use the money from the unearned income account to pay off that specific invoice. That way, your books are in check, nobody's lying to anybody, and you get the benefit of pulling the cash forward like Mrs. Jones's ACV check. Now, the sixth way restorers cheat are depositing checks without proper endorsements. Look, I know it's very easy. A lot of restorers have relationships with local banks and they give them those check scanners and they take in the check with the mortgage company's name on it, Mrs. Jones' name on it, their name on it. They'll just sign their name, run it through the machine. Yeah, totally easy, totally awesome. I get it. And it's a pain to deal with the mortgage company and such, but that's fraud. And at the end of the day, if people really want to crack down on this, that's jail time. So I think it's, and by the way, full disclosure, I may or may not have used the same practices in the past. So I'm not sitting here to try to shame you. Again, the purpose of this video is to try to create good behaviors out of bad behaviors. The solution to that is really tightening up your collections process and deploying things like accounts receivable term loans, where you can actually borrow against your receivables to pull your cash forward while you're dealing with collecting that bill from the mortgage company or the homeowner and such. I don't think it's worth anybody's time or anybody's risk of going to jail to actually, not properly sign over a check and such. And I know it's very tempting, and I know the pain points of cash flow are very painful. The last way restorers cheat themselves is actually a very, very special one. Restorers overall and people in the world, myself included, can call themselves very high integrity when it comes to the promises that they make externally. And myself too. I promise you that I'm going to be at 7 o'clock at a specific meeting. I'll be there. I promise you I'm going to wire you $10,000. Very easy to do those things. But the number one way we actually cheat is when it comes to the promises that we make to ourselves. As restorers, I bet you there are years that you promised yourself you would do this thing and then you didn't do it because something else took precedent, because it's selfish to actually do that one thing for yourself. But at the end of the day, those promises that you make to yourself are the most important, because the lack of confidence you have as an entrepreneur is a direct result of you not keeping the promises that you've made to yourself. The promises that nobody else knows about. Not your team, not your spouse, not your wife. There's no contracts to those. There's nothing to hold you accountable to them. So instead of building all this lack of confidence by not following those promises, be very, very careful and ruthless over what promises you actually make to yourself, and make sure that 100% of the promises that you make to yourself, you actually make come true. It's a non-negotiable. And what you'll see is that your confidence level as a restoration contractor will soar. The way you'll show up for your employees, for your customers, for your community will absolutely explode. So in conclusion, the 7 ways to not cheat yourself are: 1, actually bill for the items that you did and control the price that you bill for. 2, actually give people the positions that they deserve and communicate with them what they need to do to level up, instead of just giving somebody a promotion because they've been there for X amount of time. 3, find a differentiator within your business, something that's super unique, something that might irritate some people but inspire other people, and then double down on letting the world know how you're actually different. And no, it's not the IICRC or the drying technology or any of that stuff. 4, under promise and over deliver. It just makes it so much easier. Your customers will come in expecting X and they'll get way more value. They'll become raving fans, and it'll just make you and your team look like absolute superstars. 5, don't take deposits and record them as income. Instead, take the deposits and record them as unearned income, and then take money from the unearned income account and apply it to your invoices. 6, don't run checks through the machine without endorsements. It's not worth jail time for anybody. Instead, go and get an accounts receivable line of credit and borrow money to move cash forward while being super ruthless with how you collect your money, but don't deposit that check until it's properly endorsed. And 7, be extremely careful with the promises that you make to yourself, and make sure that you always commit to those specific promises, as that is the number one confidence builder for you as a restoration business owner. So why did I shoot this video in the first place? That's because I'm on a mission to create albionaires within the restoration industry. What are albionaires? Albionaires are people that get to $1 million of net profit within their restoration business, utilizing the frameworks, tactics, techniques, and software that we teach here at Albi, and they align with our mission of propelling the restoration industry forward. So if that is something that you aspire to do, becoming an albionaire, we'd love for you to join the movement. And the first step to that is simple. Just hit the subscribe button, follow us, comment your key takeaways. You want to take it a step further? Go check out Albi and see what it could do for your business. I'll see you guys next week.